Hello and good afternoon. I'm Holly reporting to you live from 𝐊𝐴 studio. It's lunchtime here in Sydney and you know what that means. It's time for the mid-market pulse. Let's zoom our lens now on over to the Australian share market performance. Australian shares edged marginally lower in what's turning out to be a lackluster trade by the afternoon as gains in tech and energy stocks were offset by losses in material and telecom companies. The persistent concerns over rising COVID-19 cases and renewed fear of interest rate hikes kept investors sidelined. The benchmark index ASX 200 is currently trading lower by just 4.60 points by lunchtime. The index opened marginally lower today, undermining firm cues from Wall Street, which ended higher overnight after jobless claims dropped. On Thursday, the Dow Jones rose 0.8%, the S&P 500 climbed 0.6%, and the Nasdaq stormed 0.8% higher as well. Back home, the market sentiment was also dented by rising cases in Greater Sydney and Queensland as well, as lockdown measures failed to stop the community spread of the highly infectious Delta variant. In the past 24 hours, New South Wales recorded 291 new COVID-19 cases. And unfortunately, the damage from extended lockdown in Sydney has started showing its impact on the job market, and economists warn it's spilling over into other states. Economists at Commonwealth Bank expect the national unemployment rate to rise in the coming months, from 4.9% in June to 5.6% in October. They also warned that New South Wales would record 300,000 job losses in the coming months due to the extended lockdown in Greater Sydney. The national employment data, as measured by the Bureau of Statistics, showed that the number of payroll jobs fell by 2.4% between the 3rd of July and the 17th. The bulk of those job losses occurred in New South Wales, where jobs declined by a much larger 4.4%. And moving on now to some brighter news on the sectoral front, bright green you might say, as 8 of the 11 sectors were trading in the green zone. IT topped the chart with a 2% in gains, followed by energy, which rose 0.5%, and healthcare, consumer discretionary and industrial indices also traded marginally higher. Meanwhile, materials was the worst performer, falling over 1.5%. Telecom and utilities also witnessed selling pressure. Let's turn our attention now to the biggest gainers and losers that captured investor attention by the mid-market session. Shares of diversified media group News Corporation topped the gainers list, rising 5.15% during the mid-session. Some of the other top performers were BNPL Major Afterpay, real estate firm Unibail Rodamco Westfield, cloud-based wagering platform PointsBet, and fintech firm �ZIPCo. On the flip side, however, mining players are buried deep in the red zone, as iron ore producer Champion Iron was the top laggard on the ASX pack, falling nearly 3.3%. Some of the other notable losers were miner Perseus Mining, digital media firm REA Group, gold miner Northern Star Resources, and iron ore miner BHP Group. Now, before we look at the shares that are in the news today and check out our stock fact of the day concerning the origins of the fintech company Square, it's time for a short break. Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
where the property market is headed next,
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter,
be on top of the latest news and announcements
with 𝐊𝐴 TV. Hi and welcome back from the break. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐴 TV live from Sydney. This is the Mid-Market Pulse. Moving ahead, next in this segment, let's focus on the stocks that grabbed headlines today. Shares of Afterpay rose over 5%, after its takeover suitor Square Incorporated surged in the overnight trades on Wall Street. The stock has witnessed a strong rally this week following Twitter bosses Jack Dorsey's Square unveiling its plan to acquire it for $39 billion. The company plans to integrate Afterpay's services into existing offerings to tap the younger generation who prefer digital payments. The merger and acquisitions deal is expected to close in early 2022. Speaking of Square, it's now time for our stock fact of the day. Did you know the original inspiration for the fintech company occurred to Jack Dorsey in 2009 when Jim McKelvey, a friend of Dorsey's, was unable to complete a $2,000 sale of his glass faucets and fittings because he could not accept credit cards? Well, 12 years later, it's safe to say it paid off. Next up now, Australia's Big Four bank Westpac is planning to review its relationship with the buy now, pay later major. The bank will examine its alliance with the payment solutions company after its $39 million deal with US fintech. Shares of the BHP Group company dropped 2.5% in line with the materials index. The mining giant, in an exchange update, said it had approved a $544 million capital expenditure at the Shenzi North Oil project. It also approved a $258 million capital expenditure to move the Trion Oil project into the front-end engineering design phase. BHP operates the project and now holds a 72% stake in the Shenzi North project, while holding a 60% participating interest in the operatorship of blocks at Trion Discovery. The share price of K2 Fly rose nearly 8% to 28 Australian cents after the mining software and services provider secured a contract. The company announced that Alcoa USA Corp has signed a 5-year tailings management SaaS contract to roll out to 7 sites globally. The total contract value for this transaction is over $1.5 million. Alcoa is one of the world's largest bauxite miners, with 7 global mines in Australia, Brazil, Guinea, and Saudi Arabia. And shares of the family zone cyber safety entered into a trading halt, pending an announcement regarding the completion of the institutional entitlement offer. The software and digital services player is launching a fully underwritten $146 million capital raising at 55 cents per share to finance the $142 million acquisition of UK group Smothwall. It has executed binding agreement to acquire Smothwall, UK's leading provider of digital safety solutions, for $142 million in cash consideration. Smothwall is an industry pioneer with a mature filtering product and a leading position in UK education, servicing approximately 38% of the market. And shares of furniture retailer Nick Scali retreated after a strong rally in the previous session on robust earnings. The company on Thursday reported a 100% rise in underlying net profit after tax for the financial year 21, beating guidance. Sales revenue for the year grew by 42%, with the same-store sales revenue growth of 34%. Boosted by strong earnings, the retailer declared a final dividend of 25 cents a share, its highest final dividend on record, and 11% of the final distribution last year. The company, however, did not provide any guidance for the upcoming year due to uncertainties created by the COVID-19 crisis. And shares of Gold 50 are set to commence trading today after successfully completing its $10 million IPO. The precious metals mining company will be listed on the domestic exchange under the ticker symbol G50. Founded in October of 2020, it's an early-stage gold exploration company focused on discovery in the world's most attractive mining jurisdictions, Arizona and Nevada. It has a portfolio of high-quality precious metals exploration projects in Golconda, Spitfire, Cassian, Top Gun, and Broken Hills. The company has produced a total of over 225 million ounces of gold. Meanwhile, a newly listed company, Pantera Minerals, was trading flat at 40.5 cents on the second day of trading. The Western Australia-focused mining explorer made a bumper debut on the ASX on Thursday after receiving an overwhelming response for its $7 million IPO. The stocks gained as much as 187% in its intraday before closing 102% higher on the first day of trading. Founded in December of 2020, Pantera Minerals is a homegrown mineral products developer, an explorer which aims to develop iron ore, copper, manganese, and polymetallic projects in WA. Well, that is just about all for now in our show. Keep watching 𝐾𝐿 TV as we bring you more of the latest news and trading market updates live from Sydney. Holly Shields signing off.